Hello everybody and welcome back to Wappelville. We're going to paint a base that we've made for a fun little diorama here. Well, kind of a diorama base for my Witch King of Angmar. I'll just show you now that he's all painted here, and we'll be showing you this several times. So there he is. He's on his fell beast. He's all happy. And this is his new house right here. This is where he's going to go. And what we'll do is we'll paint this with mostly the liquid pigments from Green Stuff World and some other acrylic things. Now I did actually have some fun here, and we found somebody a little pal for him, a little playmate right here. So we have this Gondor dude with the pokey stick. He's going to try and do the pokey stick thing through the window right here. Now this actually is the latest Patreon video that I just uploaded now, and I think I just been posted to the Patreon page. It's part of my basing pledge level here, and he's actually going to stand on these couple of broken stones, and you can see these broken stones up here. There's a big old pin that runs through them, and it goes all the way down, probably down to about here, I think. It's a big old paper clip. This goes into the fell beast, and the idea is that not only does this go into the fell beast, but some of these, they kind of, there's going to be some more broken pieces that'll add to this right here. And that's going to basically kind of help our fell beast stay glued to this, so he doesn't just come tip over or anything crazy like that, because we don't want things to be tipping over. I'll show you some of the stuff that it's made out of over here. If we can just get these things out of the way. So there's some of the Sculpey that went into it. You can see we've got some of the stones here. You can recognize they're about that size. We took our carving tools and X-Acto knife and we broke these things up. We used a little scoring tool here to put some cracks into our stones. Tried to give this, just a hint of a Gondor look right here with these crenellations. I wasn't trying to make this like crenellations on an actual castle or fortress or anything like that. We just used your very basic Res primer. Just brushed it on. Didn't even have time to airbrush it. Anything like that. Because this was a piece of terrain that I had done in actually a terrain video. And this is for my Lord of the Rings boards. And I thought this would be kind of neat to have as sort of a base for the fell beast. But you can see it's very flat here. There's no real texture or anything like that kind of goes in 360. This, as you can see, that's kind of 360 right there. I don't think we're going to be adding any foliage to this. Hey Ecto, how you doing? Oh, let's see. Prime the terrain with glossy paint before putting oil on it. Oh, before putting oils on it. You know, that's kind of funny because the only dark primer I have left is that glossy stuff, the black glossy primer. And I was thinking, well, can I just prime it with the black glossy primer and then just spray other lighter things over the top of it, just so that I can have that as the dark color? Hey, Captain Caveman, how are you doing? It is later the latest video right here, literally hot off the presses. I just posted it minutes before I started doing this. So I baked some Sculpey right here, and here's my main stones. We also did some smaller ones here. We did some lintels and such, and that's what was carved. And we just kind of built this block by block. This actually wasn't built block by block. We just kind of carved it to make it look that way. This is actually just a flat piece of Sculpey right here. So anybody that's on the Patreon page, you should be seeing this video popping up in your email feed. Now, you can see the primer in some places is still drying. That is why we're just kind of conversing and talking about what we're going to be using. And let's just show our fell beast right here. So this is where he's going to attach to this. And the idea is basically he's struck the tower, and he's just the impact of that is kind of breaking away these stones. So that's why you've got stones out here, like he's hit it, stones falling out here.
So say we all. So say we all.
No, thank you so much. Oh, it's the Roy experience. Hey, Roy, how are you doing? Well, we're running low on this already, but thank you so much for the sub. That is appreciated. And it's 4 months. Thank you so much. That is appreciated. So I really had a blast making this thing. So you can see here's that flat piece of Sculpey goes all the way out to here. And we built a row here. And we actually kind of shaved these things down and sanded them so that they would be rounder. Because you can see on the inside they're a little bit less on the round side. Hey, Crafty Fox, how are you doing? Now here is what we're going to be using. Not so much of the... here we go. So we got this dark industrial. I don't know where the light industrial went. Doesn't really matter. Because as long as we've got these three, we are good to go. There we go. So we got these three guys. We will be using some other things. Maybe some Reaper clear and liner paints. But we do also have to paint this guy right here with his pokey stick. So we'll hopefully get to him after the tower. And if there's time left after the tower, maybe I try and get to some other things too. Now this is going to be a wet palette over here. Yeah, it's I don't know what it is, Armored Wolf. Some people get them, and then there's those that don't. I swear there's notifications that I don't get for other folks. Now, hear that sound? With these liquid pigments, it's really important to hear the sound of that agitator. And these are acrylic, by the way. They are not alcohol-based or anything like that. They're just acrylic. Oh, here's my black soot over there. Get you out here. Oh, let's throw some of the white out here too. And we'll be using some regular acrylic paints along with this. And might even just throw a touch of this. Now there is a marble floor. Well, sort of a marble floor on the inside here. So we might do, thinking some kind of blue liner for that color right there. And I think, oh, look at this. We just happen to have some right here. So I hope everybody is doing well. I know this is an unusual start time. This is, think of this, if everything works the way I'd like it to, this would kind of be a normal Thursday time slot here. I know it's strange, but for me, it's kind of normal. But I also have to see, now I'm going to hold him back over here. Let's get this put over here. Oh, because I don't think there'll be, I was just looking to see is there any object source lighting that might hit our tower here. I don't think so. Maybe just the slightest hint of it. So let's see. What was the name? I think Melvin the Fell Beast. He'll be making some more. He will definitely be making some more appearances. Oh yeah, that's the scream, right? Yes, the scream. I can do that too after I've rolled the third triple skull in a row for Blood Bowl, or let's see, what are some of the other, well, the 100th one in a row, which I can do that. I mean, I can just do that in my sleep, really. That's almost not a challenge. Well, it would be a scream stream. Well, actually, it would be, I don't know, this time, the Halloween, if you're going to do the Nazgul stream or scream on a stream, I think there is no better time than Halloween season for doing that. I don't know. I think that might just have to happen there. So I'm just going to hit this darker stuff down here. I'll get a little bit of the black soot and this basically some brown liner over here. The primer, I'm still actually waiting for some of the primer to dry on this here. If you're wondering why this is, actually this was supposed to be a little bit later. Oh, let's see, charity stream with 3+ horror games planned. Ooh, that may, you may have, actually I think the entire stream, you should just be doing that. Oh, the Nazgul, oh, I don't know if you've ever seen Zorp's YouTube channel. Hey Rex, how are you doing? So yeah, Zorpazorp. He does the Lord of the Rings battle reports and
Little
such.
hobbit, spark my gun jar.
Oh, thanks, Crafty Fox. Thanks so much for the follow. Well, Gandalf appreciates that. Yeah, you just heard Gandalf there. Now I'm gonna get a little touch of this gray in here too. I just need to fill in my darker areas right here. We know we want that to just be pretty much in shadow anyways. Yeah, it's another one of these beat up craft brushes, right? Oh, thanks, Crafty Fox. Yeah, there's actually someone, a friend of ours, sent us a book, a very detailed book on Bob Ross. And oh, it was ASMR, I think that was the most intriguing chapter. That was the one he said go to first because it was all about Bob Ross and his voice, the sound of his voice, the kind of the rhyme of it, some of the repeated things, and the effect that it had on people. Well, like a significant effect on the positive side, which is good, which is good. And it was a whole long chapter just on that ASMR thing and his voice. And I read that, and I saw a whole lot of things as okay, I have to continue doing this, and I maybe should emphasize this even a little bit more, just to make it. I mean, everybody needs a mellow place to be, pretty much under any circumstances, but especially when the day gets really weird, you could just use a mellow spot to land in. Hey, Parm, how are you doing there? Yeah, it was a whole chapter on it. Now, of course, I was just as fascinated his experiences with Bill Alexander because it just reminded me of being with my watercolor and oil painting teacher when I was back at the academy. So that was kind of really fun too to be reading up on that. And but that the voice thing, because it's been mentioned so many times, I thought, well, maybe this here's a thing. This just might be a thing. I absolutely love this. The Sculpey loves paint as well. Now I prime this with the Steiner Res. In a pinch, you could actually just kind of get away without priming it. The Sculpey loves paint, and the Sculpey is just so fantabulous. Now somewhere in this room, I've got a couple of the new texture rollers that I just rolled out a couple of quick sheets so people could see them tonight. Hey, Bethany, how you doing? Yeah, the Crafty Fox tries to make those streams as mellow as possible, and of course, folks, that means give Crafty Fox the follows, because follows are free, and of course, too, always double check if you think I'm following that person already. Yeah, do yourself a favor and double check because, well, Twitch seems to like to unfollow when you don't want to. It just like unfollows for you for whatever reason. So this is going to be fun because this is going to let me do some wet blending and such. Oh yeah, Crafty Fox. At first, people tried to kind of say that was a little bit of an urban legend right there that Twitch unfollows you. But I know I've experienced it because I'll be watching somebody's stream and I'll see the follow button and I'll be, well, wait a minute, I know I hit this button because I've been watching their streams for a month. I know I hit that follow button. And according to Twitch, no, you did not. And I said, I think I did. And Twitch says, no, you didn't. So yeah, they're very sneaky that way. It could have to do with how often you watch their streams, maybe. Hasn't nobody's been able to figure it out. It's the magic potion. Yeah, that's and sometimes when you're not getting notifications, it's not because you're not getting notifications. It's just because Twitch said, nope, you're not following that person anymore. I said, well, wait a minute. I kind of wanted to. So, Bethany, I hope all is well down there, and I hope whichever device you're trying to watch this on is behaving. So we have to do our... Bethany, also, too, look at your Patreon messages there, because this should have come through, 11:35, about 40 minutes ago or so. Yeah, but it's the craziest thing. Look at this. We got a Not J. We got a Not J in the late night. How are you doing? I guess. I guess I have to ask. What is the subject matter for this week's podcast on Rocky's War Room, also on Twitch? So, Not J. I think you were around when we were painting the Melvin the Fell Beast right here. So we built this diorama base out of Sculpey. This was the video that I just filmed yesterday. Well, yesterday into today, technically. And we kind of let all this stuff dry. We hit it with our brush on anti-shine. So Melvin is all set for a new home. See that little hole right there in his leg? That's what's going to go into this. And the idea is this part of his leg kind of gets glued into here. This metal pin goes all the way down to about that stone right there. Oh, thanks, Crafty Fox. Yeah, we definitely love our Lord of the Rings here. I can, well, here, let me show you a little bit of the terrain that we're making. That sort of at this point Arnor. I think Arnor. What else? Well, I guess Osgiliath, but Osgiliath's not quite this overgrown, but definitely kind of an Arnor board. So that's the terrain board, and here is one of our armies on the board. So that's my Easterling, my beloved Easterling army, just rocking Arnor. The heroes of the East right here, ready to take out some Gondor. So yeah, that's gonna be. I'm looking forward to at some time being able to actually live stream games of this. Let's see, don't remember. It might be an open discussion. Oh, geez, Bethany, that's I'm sorry there had to be kind of a high price day off there. So sorry to hear about that. Those are never good things to hear. I hope that it's one of those things where you just kind of, it wasn't too sudden. Actually, well, sudden or not sudden doesn't really matter. The end result's kind of the same. It is not fun. Whether you can brace yourself or not, I don't know if it really does matter. And, well, then again, can you actually brace yourself for it? As we got rancid vomit in the house. So Not Jay, is that one of is like a mandatory type of thing? Just, okay, if you're going to keep doing this here or being in this location, you have to take that? Or is that one of those kind of contact tracing things, and they traced it to you, and they say, okay, you got to take the test? Because I know my sister had to do one. That the bank that, well, she stopped working there now.
Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Dilgert, for the follow. That is appreciated. This is going to be so much fun. Now I have to. There's been an internal debate here, so I'll show you some. Well, this is level 2 of that tower. So do I paint it this dark, or do I paint it lighter, because we've got that Gondorian troop there? So I'm thinking maybe this is a little bit lighter, more of the Minas Tirith style marble, perhaps. Now I've been running the fever, and I've been symptomatic since Monday. Well, sorry to hear about that. That's now, is it what was it, a 2-week quarantine thing also? So I'm guessing that doesn't make life terribly fun either, just that part of it. I always wanted to get into LOTR. Yeah, it's tough because for some folks, yeah, it just doesn't maybe have the pizzazz of a 40K or even a Sigmar or an AOS or even a Warcry or something like that. But think about it. Actually, if you're going to think about a close comparison, it is more like Warcry. It could be as big as AOS. Well, heck, it could be as big as an Apocalypse game of 40K too. But what I like about it is that even something as nasty and as scary as Witch King on the Fell Beast there's only one Witch King on Felbeast, and he can't do everything. That he is not an all-powerful, almighty weapon of any kind. Not to say that you can defeat him easily. He can be avoided, though. And if you can maybe stomp on everything else, then this guy, he can't necessarily dominate the game and just kind of decide it all by himself. There's also very much an element of, well, kind of a poker, because there's things like might and fate and will, and that's all in very limited supply. And if you kind of waste that, especially early on, that's not going to bode well for your chances the rest of the game. So it's not just necessarily about killing things. Sometimes it's just, can I get you to spend will points or fate points or might points on things that really don't matter. So it's a little bit of it's a game within the game. So see, by default, I'm already starting to get some of those weathering streaks. And look at this. All it takes is a vertical brushstroke over something that's still partially wet right here. Let's see, quarantine until results, which should be tomorrow or... Oh, geez, that's right. I've already forgotten that tomorrow is Friday. Holy smokes, thanks for reminding me. So yeah, you got a broadcast coming up right quick, don't you? If I'm positive, I'm in for another 14 days. Or asubmit for 24 hours. Okay. Oh, look at this. We have an Al Capone in the house. How are you doing? Yep, certain package came in today. And it had, well, we have our very first tube of alizarin crimson now. So we're going to have to get this into a container. And we'll have to give this a shot. And, well, and of course, I showed this to Kathy. We have to try and get her using that. And of course, so what was it? Gamblin Fast Matte Titanium White. And so what was it? What did I get? Quick Drying White or something like that? Yeah. Oh well. Live and learn. Oh, thanks, Crafty Fox. Yeah, I will. Over the course of the stream here, we're going to be bringing out some of the past things, some of the recent things. Actually, I just packed up the Dark Sword figure. But oh yeah, where's that thing we were just working? Oh, okay, we got the female orca. Oh yeah, that's right. Huh. We'll just leave him over there for right now. I got paint on my hands here. We'll handle some miniatures later. Oh, they definitely will. I'm kind of curious about all of them. Definitely curious about all of them, especially stuff like that. The white there that I've never had a chance really to use. So that's going to be fun. All right, what we will do is start to mix in maybe a little bit more of our lighter color here into some of this. Let's see. It's giving you time to build all those the Gates of Antares miniatures and oh geez, the FDM printer. The FDM printer. I would imagine there's all kinds of fantastic sci-fi terrain you can print with that. Let me see. Here, let's just look. We're still using that big beat up brush. Why? Because it's giving me these streaks. It's giving me these nifty streaks. Oh, look at this. It's almost like we're using oil paint. Then we're gonna go back in here. We'll paint in some of these cracks. We'll do some of that too. And then remember, we got this floor here we want to take care of. Oh man, I think we're all good there. So I guess let's look through some of our we'll just hit some of our Lord of the Rings armies right here, because well, love me my Lord of the Rings armies here. So we've got where's my Rohan? Well, we'll start off with Harad here. So these guys are going to be sort of, when necessary, teamed up with the Easterlings if points require that. I have an Oliphant for these guys that has to be assembled. We'll paint that. So the Rohan army is definitely growing. Now that Erkenbrand is done, we actually do have an Aowen done. And Hey, Browntown Games, how are you doing? Welcome in. And of course, I've been wanting to do a Dol Amroth army, oh my gosh, since the early 2000s. Over 15 years. Finally got a chance to get that thing going too. And there might have been a little bit of freehand here and there. You know, Dol Amroth, heraldry on all of their stuff. Of course, we had to have an army of the dead. The the Morgul Knights have been a fantastic partner with my Easterlings. Absolutely love those guys. So we'll show you some of our Song of Ice and Fire figures too. There's plenty. Ah, look at this. Look what that's already doing there. And we can do some more. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's get some more of our streaks going over here. These liquid pigments from Green Stuff World. Now I wish I could show you the tree men. I think I showed those a little bit maybe in the Saturday stream, the Monday stream. That's right. But those were shipped off yesterday, so unfortunately I don't have those anymore. I sorry I did not have the chance to make screens out of those so you could see them. So under our crenellations and well, we didn't do full-on matriculations there. Much to the dismay of the guy that does those really fun YouTube videos about historical structures, and he always screams the word matriculations. Yeah, but they might have come from a certain place. Oh, well, so those 50-mile-an-hour winds I was telling you about yesterday, yeah, they totally subsided down to about 40 miles an hour today. So yeah, there's no leaves in the entire city. They're all gone, except what might be in people's gutters or in the sewer. So yeah, the leaves are already gone. They're toast. They were nice colors as they flew by. So not I saw that Rocky he put together. Oh gosh, it was one of the paper structures there for Antares. Now there, no, okay, yeah, we won't. I was just about to say we'll put some weathering on that. No, this hasn't been around quite that long. We'll get some of this on the interior here too. Why not? And while we do that and wait for that to dry, how's about we move over here real quick, like to this fine lad. And we're just going to hit him with a quick old pre-glaze here. Now that's just blue liner right there. We're going to throw some black soot on this shield. Why not? Who cares? And I do have a couple of, yeah, I have a couple of sponges sitting over here. I did not completely forget here. Let's get a little bit of brown into this too. Because it's not all supposed to just be, well, blue liner. Handy as that might be. Also have to remember that, well, this ain't oil paint, so we better get a move on here. I just realized that. I said, oh yeah, that's right. Not oils. I was just about to say, yeah, let's let this indigo sit on here for a little while, and realize, oh yeah, not indigo. That could have been tricky. Oh, let's see. Right now, we're printing parts for the Sunbridge from. Oh, wow. I gotta say, I don't know if price-wise it might be all that much different than what is it? Is it a Sarissa MDF kit or whatever? But I bet you it would probably be way less of a hassle to put together than one of those Sarissa kits. Probably less breakable too. In fact, probably a lot less breakable. It won't smell like wood though, but hey. It's the dome from okay, for the Boramites. All right. So it was kind of a dome structure. All right. Let's see. So Browntown, I hope you're doing good. I saw your latest Instagram post either yesterday or today. So let's give this a little bit of a Gondor feel here. But they seem to like their almost bluish black marble in some places. So we'll just, even though the paint's still drying down here, I'm just gonna give a quick little suggestion of some kind of a pattern here as we wait for all this stuff here to dry. What the hell? Well, I'm just going to start throwing some stuff over here. At least remind me what that's supposed to be. Oh, very handy. Boy, I really lucked out here. I was really hoping that there would be a dark blue underneath these broken stones here to be a little bit of shadow. Oh boy, that worked out just perfect. I kind of had to go with marble things this big because trying to carve that in after all of the rocks were in it, that would have been tricky. As in, a lot tricky. Now, let's get ourselves a paper towel over here just to have that. Once again, let's grab Melvin here. So I think you could see that the stones are kind of being pushed outwards, right? Now, the idea is that when this is put on here, I'm going to throw just get a couple of more stones. I'm going to have to break those, and then we're going to have to shove those in there, and that's going to be kind of touching his leg there. Now you can see that. It was really exciting. I think it was the first time I actually nailed some good steel NMM. Yes, indeed. That was looking pretty sweet. Yeah, I've got him in a little sort of a saddle so he doesn't fall over. Now I think I can start to maybe do...
Hello, little hobbit. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Augurbot, for the follow. That is appreciated. So see our little reference picture down over there. Now that is obviously more of an Osgiliath sort of a thing. I'm going to try and keep these a little bit lighter, but I also want to maybe have a little variance in some of these blocks here. So not everyone to be the same level of dark. Might have to throw some more of my white. Oh, what is this? I almost called it Iraqi dust. I've been listening to too many historical things here, but yeah, some kind of my white dust over here. Now we'll just do it this way. Just get some nice little variation going on between these. It's already going to start to bring up some of those cracks. And this will give us that nice little dusty feel. Where's my white over here? Hey, Nolaski, how are you doing? I hope all is well. And it's got to be pretty early for you. It's got to be, gee whiz, not even... Well, no, it's 6:53 in the morning. I'm assuming there. Oh, Augurbot, this is we're doing this in acrylics right here because this thing has to be done and dry tonight so that I can glue the fell beast on here. Now you can go back and watch this. This was done in oils right here. But pretty much all of the bases, I tend to paint those in the acrylics just so that we can throw stuff like the vegetation on them. So this is another one here. And these are really fun. I enjoy using these things. Now we might paint our Gondor guy here in oils, but this has to be done in acrylic so that I can actually get that thing glued on there tonight, because I'm going to have to do some green stuff on there, and it's going to take a little while to set. It's okay. I was right. Sometimes I get my European time zones a little crossed, who's at 7 hours ahead of us, who is 6 hours ahead of us, that sort of thing. But yeah, Augurbot, when you see me working on bases, that's going to tend to be more of these guys right here, these liquid pigments here. What I used to use in the past was just straight up powdered pigments with I used to use rubbing alcohol, but, people are doing too many things with that today. So then it became pigment fixer until I ran out of pigment fixer. Then these things came along, and they were nice because they were way less messy. They don't, you just don't use as much of them, so they go a little bit further. because I was running out of that pigment fixer like crazy. So they were just kind of more efficient all the way around. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad to have more independent confirmation on that, because sometimes, people will tell me that and I say, "Well, okay, maybe it's just late at night and you keep falling asleep during the stream, so you're imagining that there is a relaxing voice there on the other end of your my microphone anyways, or my headset." Well, we will be using some. Oh, where they go? We will be using some of the Reaper paints here. Now, I still might end up painting him in acrylics here, so we could stick him on the base right away too. He's going to be standing right over here. That's his right foot going to stand there. His left foot's going to go over there. And I'll just get a little bit more of this here. In fact, I might even, I'm just going to throw a little bit of this in there. See, I just threw something in there, made it a little bit more yellow. Well, it gave it a yellowish tint. We'll throw that in a couple of these blocks in here. Then, like I said, we're going to go back in. We got to get a lot of this. See all those nifty cracks in there? Spend a whole lot of time carving those in. We're not going to let that go to waste. Not going to let some good carving go to waste. Do we got backlog battles in the house? We sure do. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that would just get posted. Oh gosh, maybe what, 10:45 my time, something like that. So that was not long ago. And it was really fun. It's been a long time since I've been able to make a gaming base for Lord of the Rings. Well, let's see. I think I'm going to grab my other eagle here so you can kind of get an idea the origin point for something like this. So let me just get up here, grab my eagle, and you can actually watch me painting this. I think this is on the YouTube channel right here. So we didn't want to have the usual thing where there's a plastic rod shoved into some orifice on our great eagle here. So I don't, yeah, well, it's kind of pretty well camouflaged, but now you can see that metal rod right there. That's just sticking into the tree right here, and it's masked by all these other items. And that's the same concept here, is that we have this, and that pin is going to be stuck into our Nazgul. But I thought, well, the Nazgul is heavier than this guy and bigger. He needs some extra support. So what I ended up doing, here, we'll just throw you over here. So what I ended up doing was something like this. A bunch of these big old stones here, and there's going to be some smaller ones here, and those are going to be the ones that really secure him to this, because I don't want him spinning around or falling off in the middle of a game. That wouldn't be so ideal. Let's see. It should help the YouTube metrics with me watching 2 to 3 hours per night. It actually does. Yes, backlog battles. That really does help. Let's see. The long videos are perfect for you. Oh, well, I'm glad, backlog, because I know the tinnitus thing, that sort of stuff, that can really lead to just no way to relax or get to sleep or something like that. No matter how tired you are, doesn't matter how tired you are if that's going on. These are really fun. These silly brushes here. They kind of become like their own little filbert brush there. Now I gotta make sure that we don't let these get too dark as well. Let's get over here on these guys. Let's not forget these. Yeah, I've been looking forward to something like this, because I've done that. I've done several of the flying bases for things like the eagles and such. But doing one for the Nazgul, that's something I've had that in my head for a long time. Now we are going to let this block be different from this block, and well, our crenellations too. Those crazy YouTube metrics, boy, I tell you, there's never any rhyme or reason to it. I try. I've studied YouTube for so long, and still, it just it eludes me. The algorithms and everything else. Oh, let's get this lighter too. Just this one, not this one over here. We might leave that one. Well, maybe not quite so dark. And then this one's going to be lighter too. And then let's get some lighter stuff here on the floor of that. Do we have a couscous in the house? Yes, we do. Couscous, we have to welcome in, and I think hopefully you got your, yes, you do have your little VIP badge there now. So this was a basing video that we just did yesterday. I filmed this, sent it off to the patrons today. So this is made out of Sculpey. So this is the white clay that you've seen me use. Now it can be baked in even bigger sheets. Look at this. It can be baked in a huge solid sheet. Look how thick that is. It can be in much thinner sheets as well. Think of it as the same type of a clay that I use for my basing sheets right here. But this is the gray extra firm, so that's the really strong stuff. This white stuff, what we like about it is that it's easy to break, it's easy to carve, whereas the gray Sculpey can be a little bit tougher. So we can see it breaks really nice, and it is easy to carve here. You can just kind of break pieces away like this. So you can see how fast it is to get yourself a nice broken stone. And this had to be very strong. Let's see, I'm going to wash it to put in the cooler. What we're going to do is we're going to paint in some of the cracks, and then we're going to throw maybe some streaking here and there. But we're definitely going to get some glazes in there. We're definitely going to draw out some of those cracks for sure. So he goes, boom, right there onto this base. And this thing is nice and heavy so that it supports his weight. And you can see his weight is a little more forward. So a lot of the weight in the tower is towards the back of him there. So we tried to do all kinds of counterbalancing. Oh, and he also has a little playmate. He has a little playmate right here. He has this guy. Let's see. So yeah, we're going to be... we got lots more. Here, let me get this piece of Sculpey out of the way. And again, it's the same exact Sculpey that we use for all of our fun bases like this. Oh, for the Sisters of Battle. It's the exact same type of Sculpey. That wonderful white Sculpey. It just depends which paint on it, really. Oh yeah, here she is. So this is another case. It's that same Sculpey, only see here it's in thinner sheets. We broke it up. We painted some marble on there. Look at nice broken Sculpey sheets. It's a fantastic material. Really is. Here's another example of kind of a Sculpey base. This is using those Green Stuff World texture rollers there. Now let's get back to some of our lighter tones here. Yeah, let's get the interior. Let's get some of this on the interior. I'm just kind of torn. I love my Arnor look, especially since, well, this is the Witch King of Angmar. I mean, talk about the dude that kind of messed up Arnor. And the Three Kingdoms there. That's I was tempted to kind of go a little bit more weathered on the rocks here, but I don't have any of the Arnor guys. I'm hoping, I doubt they'll ever make a plastic box for the Arnor armies. I think at best they will re-release the old metal guys and maybe do a couple of Forge World specials or something like that, which I think that's what they did with the Dunlendings. They added, I think, some Huskarls. I could be wrong, but I think that's what they did for the Dunlendings. See, I just have to stop. Once I'm done with this kind of up and down motion here, then I can sort of dive in with the... Oh, here's what we need to do. This could be fun. So let's maybe do a slightly cooler. Oh, it's just a tiny bit cool. More. That's a little bit of my blue liner. That's that Reaper blue liner that we love so much. Yeah, Cuspus, this is fortunately it's one of the new, well, in Lord of the Rings parlance, new is relative, but it's a newer kit, so it's all plastic because the old Fell Beasts had things like metal bodies and plastic tails and crazy stuff like that with a metal ring wraith sitting on top of them. So fortunately, this guy is all plastic. So this didn't have to be, well, I could make it heavier by putting weights on the bottom under here. I could actually make it even heavier. Oh, almost forgot this part. Almost forgot that. Fortunately, I didn't. Well, let's get a little bit of lighter stuff going. Oh, we got a whole area there that just needs a wee spot of paint. Now we'll warm this up right there on our little windowsill. I also had a debate. Well, this was an internal debate with me, which I won. Yay. I seem to win, well, some of the debates with myself. I don't always win, but sometimes I do. Because I was thinking, well, if this is more of a fortress style thing, that would just be a slit. And I said, no, this is the Minas Tirith and everything else, there would be more of a window. So I said, no, let's just make it more of a window. And I'm kind of glad that I went in that direction. Because I wasn't quite sure. I thought maybe the Fell Beast would actually be sticking through here. Like his leg would be sticking through there. No, Crafty Store wins about 30%, or Crafty Fox wins about 30% of the arguments. Yes. It's really sad when, all kidding aside, we have kind of talked about that here, where you sort of outsmart yourself. And that's, for me, that's really not good when yourself is not that smart and you outsmart yourself. That means that decision might not be the best one just because you lost that debate to somebody that might not be the smartest person in the world. Now with our marble, I'm going to go even with a smaller brush, but I also want to have some kind of a marble-esque texture to this. But I've gotten so darn used to using the oils, which is hilarious. It's been a long time since I actually last did any kind of marble stuff just with the acrylics. So that should be interesting. Because yeah, a lot of these little areas that they are so fine and so finely carved. If I just try to do a wash or something like that, it'll kind of wipe out some of the more of the gleaming white stone and kind of wipe out everything else. Yeah, Parm, there can be a lot of those. Now some of those end up being voiced here on the channel, like I was having the internal debate with myself was, well, would anybody want to watch me live streaming games of Lord of the Rings? And when I realized just how hard it is for me to find battle reports, like at all, outside of just Zorpazorp, there's really nothing going on with Lord of the Rings. So people said, yes, we would like to see that. You should do that. Yeah, it's so funny because, well, they did start off white. I mean, this literally is how they started. Let's see, Augermont. Augerbot, I'm not going to be doing any kind of glazes or anything like that. That's what I was saying. I wasn't going to be doing that. I'm just going to be kind of going after some of these lines because any sort of a glaze, and to me, I don't really do the wash thing. Glazes are, kind of a controlled, well, super controlled wash, and that's pretty much what we end up doing here. Now, sometimes when I'm doing the terrain or even some of the larger bases, like, oh, think about this one here. This one here, definitely some areas are definitely going to be more of a wash. And this one actually you can see it on the YouTube channel. I think it is still a highlight here. I think I might have already learned that you can make these full-on episodes. So this is another one where we used, actually this might have been one of the first ones where we used the liquid pigments from Green Stuff World on this base right here. And we've also used them on some of our other bases like this. Now see that wonderful branch right there, and our tree bark rocks over here. Absolutely loved using that stuff. So that's a big favorite of mine. I'm really enjoying that. Well, go catch you later, Crafty Fox, and you'll be able to watch the highlighted, well, the VOD of this for a couple weeks, but it will be turned into a highlight, so you can catch that and check it out. Now, it's a Crafty Fox. You'll have to tell me when you do your streaming, and I'll try and also shoot you a follow there, so that hopefully I get those alerts that are so mysterious and that they work until they don't work. So thanks again for stopping by. Yeah, let's get a little bit less. See all of these cracks right here. Now there will also be some manner of streaking here. Not so much on the broken stuff maybe, but like here and here. These would be kind of the areas that we would do that. Now let's get a little bit warmer here too. Yeah, let's do this. And I think under here I'm going to try and get some of that, well, what'd you call it? A little bit of staining, right? Debate. Yeah, we'll just hit that a little more. And we'll hit that and that. I'm just trying to avoid that look of, well, it's just, it's got that more dark gray stone like you've seen on the terrain pieces. Let's go another level up here with our lights. Just a couple of these stones. I'm trying to get a few different colors here. And color is relative. It's slightly more yellow. Hey, Gary, how are you doing? Nice to see you in. I did promise a more Euro Aussie friendly time here. Now, I'm going to leave that one somewhat darker. Yeah. Now, the thing is with these liquid pigments, they can only go so opaque. So if I want to go more opaque than this, I'm going to have to just break out some regular acrylic paints, which I can do. I can certainly do that. And here I'm just kind of already starting to factor in that there's going to be some kind of streaking going on here. Just trying to set up all the fun little cracks that we are going to paint in this thing. That's going to be great. Yeah, let's get the touch of something white down here. You see, I do actually have, see, I've got an oil paint palette sitting right there, all ready to go. Uh, 7 a.m. is definitely wart friendly, yep. Yeah, so Augrbot, you can go back and watch a whole bunch of different sessions. Now, of course, the other one that I had, that's kind of, that one's kind of put away right now. But yeah, the liquid pigments here, what's nice is it's the finish that you get. It has a dusty sort of a finish, whereas paint just kind of looks like paint. And I was hoping that this would give one more sort of textural difference between the Fell Beast and this guy and our tower here. Okay, not Jay. Well, take care of yourself and just shoot me a message when you find out, and hopefully you'll be good to go for the war room on Saturday. So you can hopefully listen to a slightly more healthy, not Jay, Saturday night on the Rockies War Room podcast. So check out the Rockies War Room Twitch channel And you'll be able to find Not Jay and friends there. Let's see. A stream of consciousness spoke like you. Every other word would be Oh yeah, that's the you'd have to kind of have the thing with your hands like this, right, or whatever, where you do the thing where you sort of cup your hands and you have the your aura and such trying to align, or maybe just your back because you've been hunched over a computer all day getting the old carpal tunnel syndrome at the keyboard, or some other 21st century what would you scourge, right? See, now that's the other thing too, is you can't. It's tough to do that sort of typical dry brushing thing with these pigments. So, maybe you do just grab something that is more of a white, and we're just gonna grab our usual kind of off-white here. This maggot white. Let's see, rainbow, and I get what you mean. He doesn't stutter at all. I don't know where this kind of comes from. I didn't have any kind of public speaking classes of any kind. I'm not sure where it came from, but the dreaded um uh um I don't know what point that was drilled out of us. Since I went to art school, not debate school, and even in high school, maybe it was high school, but just there was someone who emphasized the fact that saying nothing is better than saying. If you don't know exactly what you want to say in that moment, you're better off with your mouth closed than with your mouth open, making clumsy sounds that will just take away the impact of what it is you're trying to say. And sometimes pausing, not so bad. It's a little bit like art. You leave open spaces, right, where the eye can just kind of chill. Now, rainbow, that really, that's great to hear, because I hear the folks with the deep booming radio voices. That news presenter of doom kind of voice. And then I listen to mine, and it doesn't have the booming radio slash TV commenter, voice of doom like that was at the was it George, not Foreman? Who was the guy that always kind of is the voice of God in every movie? I don't know why I'm thinking George Foreman. He just sells grills. He's not the voice of God. Do I need to get some lighter stuff? I'm gonna just do it. What the heck? Can always make it darker if it doesn't work. But we are getting darn close to where we can start to really pick out some of our cracks and other such things. In fact, we're really getting close here. Morgan Freeman, thanks Zipstorm. And let's see, now it's going to be not this week, but next Sunday. You and Kathy will be doing your next build of would that be the final build? No, I think you have 2 more sessions maybe, building that Gundam figure. Which of course people keep telling, Jim, you gotta paint one of those Gundams. You gotta build a diorama base for it, like this. Well, maybe not exactly like this. Maybe a little less Gondorian, perhaps. So 2 more sessions. Gary, we are using the liquid pigments here from Green Stuff World. I think you've seen me using those on some of the bases in the past. It's in another cabinet, but I'm just going to grab that because it might be easier for illustrative purposes here. There you are. What are you hiding up there for? All right. Now I think you can get a nice big, you can get a nice peek at it here. So we used the same liquid pigments on this, and you can go back and watch this episode here. Why don't we move this out of the way before we knock that down? We even used it on the rocks here. It just has a nice sort of a dusty texture. It looks very much like your pigment powders here. Oh, just minus all the mess. Actually, a lot minus the mess. Very much minus the mess, which is nice. I also have the base for this orc lady right here. Now, this we did her in oils. However, her base was done. See, unsullied by vegetation. Look at that. That's all just the liquid green stuff pigments there. Yeah, that's all it is. Thank you so much, Sipstorm. That is appreciated. There's something about what it does right here that just and especially here, looks like powder as opposed to me just taking brown paint, then a reddish brown paint, and then it's a nice little foil for the kind of the smoothness of the oils, the intensity of the that's it, the intensity of the oil paints. And it's also handy, and this one's on YouTube as well. I'm using the same stuff that I used right here on Mr. T28. It's the exact same. Literally, it's very much the same stuff, especially our white and other such things that we used on this guy. And that one was a part of Historicon, which was one of those virtual conventions. Let me bring this guy back here. Now, at this point, we are starting to infuse a little bit of our regular acrylic paint in this just so we can get some of our lightest lights in here. Some of those lightest lights. And after we get our cracks in here, we're going to do some streaks of stuff in places.
Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Hail Boop, for the follow. That's appreciated. Gandalf appreciates it too. Clearly he loves his hobbitses. Loves his hobbitses. And maybe a wee spot of pipeweed too, it seems. Now, fortunately, we already have some of our darker colors out there. Let's just start to grab, something smaller. Black soot. Shall we start to inscribe some of our finer cracks into our blocks? I guess because I filed these down in the effort to round these stones out. Humorously enough, they ended up being some of these marks here that would designate where one stone ends and one stone begins. That got fudged a little bit by the effort of me. I felt sort of like the Incans right there, where you could stick a credit card between some of or you couldn't stick the credit card between the stones. Up here, it was pretty wild because obviously they're being broken apart, so I had to show that. And it was weird to go from trying to get these things right next to each other to just kind of blast it apart up here. Now, let's see. So does anyone know how to get oil paint out of carpet? Well, I think the most convenient way, unfortunately, is to cut a hole in the carpet and replace that with another piece that looks just like it before someone else sees it. That is probably the least practical method, though, even though it's the fastest. Now, you could... I don't know. Well, actually, what color is your carpet, first of all? And what color was the paint? Because that could matter. I don't know. Maybe something like this, because this is not a flammable, toxic thing or whatever, and it just cleans your brushes. Maybe that could work. It also depends on how big was the accidente. That's another thing right there. Let's see. So behind the episodes... oh my goodness, yes. We have definitely... I think we have confirmed that there are more than 300 Patreon videos now. If there's not, it has to be really, really, really close to that. Oh, look at that does. Look at that. Yes, they're carved in there, but now we're going to give them a little bit of an assist. A little bit of an assist here. I could have just painted these on, but at this size, now those didn't exist. I didn't carve those in. Ah, yes, yes, Gary. Just think you'll have plenty to watch. You'll have just so much things to watch. The next one that I know I'm working on another dark sword video, and that one, it's gonna have its own little color chart with it. I'm gonna do one of those. I think maybe only one, well, page, but we're gonna do a little card like this. We're gonna take just a green or something like that, or a brown, and we'll do the 5 color mixes here. We'll just have either a green or a brown, and then we'll paint up a miniature using especially a lot of the color mixes that you see on that card, because remember we did that with the dark sword figure. That was really fun.
Who enters my domain?
Well, looky here, we got Mini Grinder Studio. Hey, how are you doing? Thank you for the raid. That is appreciated. So we'll get our raiders caught up to speed here, because they're probably wondering, what in the world is that thing? And I said, what is he doing? I just want to make sure I didn't a lot of thinner, and dab it till you don't see it anymore. And then Blue Dawn. Oh, yeah, actually, that's a good one there, Zera. The Blue Dawn. That's why I used to clean my hands and sometimes my clothes. So this is Melvin right here, the Fell Beast, with the Witch King and his flamey sword.
Who enters my domain?
Yeah, 46 and 2. Were you guys doing a multi-stream there? Oh, hey, Love Letter. How are you doing? Now, you can go back and watch this. This is, I think it's still a VOD, but it's going to be a highlight. If it's not already a highlight, it soon will be. But we just made this very fun little diorama base here. This is made out of sculpey. We'll review that for you, too, as people kind of come in. And, oh, gosh, if those stupid ads are playing, we'll wait till after that as well. But see that nice little pin right there? Melvin the Fell Beast. Yes. Well, just like we have Clyde right here, the Gondor spear pointy stick dude. So it's Melvin versus Clyde. So see how his leg touches? Ooh, there we go. See how his leg is touching that rock? That's designed to give him a little bit of stability. And you can see it looks like he's kind of flying into these rocks, and he's kind of breaking this tower. See a little pile of stones right there? So that's what we're trying to do. You can see the center of gravity. So see how the base, most of the weight is back here. That's because most of the weight is up here on our Fell Beast. So we're trying to counteract the weight. This is also really heavy because, well, when you're playing Lord of the Rings, at least the way we do, you're playing on terrain that is somewhat rough. So you need to make sure it's not going to just fall over. Now here is what this is constructed out of. So this is our white Sculpey clay. It's a clay that you can bake. It's a polymer clay. You can bake in the oven, and you can see it breaks even just with one hand. I can break that. We can carve it. Didn't we just carve up a stone, I think, here? Really quick. Yeah. So see how wonderful, the natural, wonderful breaks that you get in that? You can carve cracks into this. It's a fantastic material, and when you glue this together with super glue, it's forever. It never comes apart. Oh, look, we got Joe and the Baron in the house. How are you guys doing? And folks, yes, definitely give 46 and 2 the follow. How are you doing? So did you guys do a multi-stream? Because that was 2 raids right in a row. We do love our glowies here. We do love our glowy things. I mean, it just can't resist. It's just too fun. Got to do the glowy things. Glowy things are so fun. Oh gosh, that's what I forgot in the other room. I forgot our little ghosts, right? Our little blue spirits that we did. I forgot those in the other room. Oh well, I'll just try to remember them for Friday because we're doing yeah. Well, it already is Friday, right? Yep, it's 12:30. So we will be streaming again. This is not the last stream of the week. I would say tomorrow. Well, the goal is to be starting at around 6 or 6:30. Just ask our moderator how well that's gone the last month and a half. But that's the goal anyways, is to stream again tomorrow. I may have to fill in some more areas here after the stream here once I can get my regular lights on. Oh, just a sheer coincidence. I think the reason why we ask is because it must have been the Saturday stream, I think, where there was a quadruple multi-stream going on, and they all rated one right after the other, which I was expecting. I knew that Dices was doing her multi-stream, but she came in, then someone else. I thought, oh, okay. Then somebody else came in. I thought, well, that's interesting. And then somebody else came in. I went, oh my goodness. I didn't even know you could multi-stream with more than 2 people. Shows what I know. Let's get some more of these little cracks going here. Now, this is less of a breakage from Melvin the Fell Beast and more of just a, well, natural cracking there that's happened over time. Oh, and then again Saturday. Yes. Now, the Saturday one, the goal is always to be an afternoon thing starting, say, at, well, 3 o'clock my time. These days it's been more like 5 or 6 my time. Hopefully we can get that to be a bit earlier. I don't know if that's going to play out. We can only hope that it does. And we'll get back to, well, I don't even know what it's going to be. It could be something orcish. It's going to be something spooky or something orcish. One of the two. It'll be one of those 2 things. Now you can multi-stream as many people as you can tolerate. That has to be really interesting for the folks in the chat. Now, I suppose there are some folks that will try to keep track of several streams at the same time, or maybe they just have a billion computers on or whatever, and they're just watching a bunch of streams at once. Sometimes I will have my phone on one and then one of the computers on another, but that's about it because usually bandwidth is at a premium here. Oh my god, let's fill that crack in down there. Then we'll have to get to our interior as well. We got that marble floor in there. Today is a slow night with only 3 streams going. Nah, those folks are me. Yeah, even with 2 monitors, geez, I almost need... It's scary to think that I actually could sort of use a 3rd monitor. Well, actually, I could probably use 4. I could also use some kind of bizarre infinity space type thing because I need to have even twice the gear around me that I have, which is scary because there's barely any room for the gear that I already have, and I actually need to double that. Mostly in the form of shelving, so that I can have all of those miniatures around that I need to show you guys for when I need an example of something. Pictures are okay, but they are really not the same as having the actual thing to show on screen. Now, let's see, what I really wanted is a mod window to monitor multiple Twitch chats at once. I get that's the next thing is how do you monitor those? I think Kathy, she was doing a multi-stream, and she just thought, well, I'm not getting a whole lot of questions or comments or whatever in my chat. It's because she was in the other person's chat, not her own. So she had to get caught up in a hurry, needless to say. Oh, she had to get caught up right quick when she realized that. And I've only done one multi-stream. That was with Mike It got a little bit confusing for folks that aren't used to seeing me doing the multi-stream. And I know it was difficult because obviously we're answering a lot of questions here, and Mike would just be kind of talking or singing a song or something like that, and I just have to constantly break in and be answering questions. So I'm not quite sure how the multi-stream is going to work. Now, see, I'm just trying to get some nice cracks over here into Mr. Marble Tiles there. Well, let's not knock the water down onto the computer there. Oh, good. Let's see. Sitting here watching, I purchased over 13 Russian buildings for your fantasy village. Are they sort of the thatched roof types? Oh, Bethany, you saw I don't know if you saw the bolt action battle reports, but did you see the blog posts on the Russian wooden cathedral that I made for our Barbarossa board? That was one of the most fun buildings I've ever made. It was the most unusual. It was one of those log cathedrals that the Russians build out in the hinterlands. And because we had those kind of typical sort of almost log cabin style buildings. That was so much fun. That was so much fun building that. It was pretty simple. It was pink foam, junk cereal boxes. We even made a little onion dome for the top of it. So yeah, go check that out. There's, I think, at least 2 articles on how that was constructed. Might have been a third. I cannot confirm nor deny that maybe an early war Stuk might have driven up to that cathedral and blown it to smithereens. Or maybe we fired an 88 at that thing. We might have done both of those things. I can't confirm or deny. I think the battle report itself will probably show, based on the flaming counters. Now, what I'm hoping to do is actually put together one of the, well, I have only one of the plastic Rohan buildings that GW put out. Gosh, was it last summer? Maybe that GW put out those Rohan buildings. But I was just going to put together one of those, something we could paint on stream. But what I want to be able to do is use that for scale and proportions, and then just make a bunch more myself out of foam, cardboard, sticks, junk. Essentially say, okay, one building probably costs more than $35 now. If one building costs $40, we can build 10 more for $40 in supplies. At least that's my goal. See, nice little cracks in here. And that white powdery stuff really, well, it's doing the thing. Even though it's a liquid pigment and it's not alcohol based or anything like that. I could easily mix it with other acrylic colors. We certainly did that. And so I put together one of the Rohan buildings. Yeah, they're made for, well, Lord of the Rings miniatures, which are just small, unfortunately, by nature. They're just kind of on the tiny side. Essentially, true 28mm scale, since they had to be a bit more realistic because they had to look like the people from the movies. So they couldn't have the pumpkin heads and the baseball, I just call them baseball glove hands. They had to be a little bit more reasonably sized. But it makes them kind of on the tiny side, no doubt about that. I think I've got myself a small crack carved in. Boy, that's a subtle carving right there. So we'll just paint that in a subtle fashion. I think I need some over here too. Yeah. This was originally going to be taller, and then I said, no, the taller that is, the taller they are, the harder they fall, especially on any kind of hilly terrain. So we did not go quite so tall. We tried to keep that as low a center of gravity as we could, yet still maybe have this look like this is sort of up in the air. Maybe. We'll see. It all depends on just what Melvin looks like when he gets put on here. Now I'm going to hit this with the, this is a bit of a regular acrylic paint here. Some of these deeper cracks, I was thinking about doing just something like that. Enhance the size of the crack. See, I haven't had anything but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days. Oh, what is it about hobbits? What about their legs? They don't need those. Yeah, I think we also said that hobbits, it's kind of like frog legs. They taste like chicken, I believe. Meat's back on the menu. Now we do have, I think I had maybe prepped half a dozen Morannon orcs. Ooh, I could prep the troll. I do have the troll from the Pelennor Field starter box. We should maybe get him prepped. I mean, he's not that many pieces. We could get him prepped. He would be very fun to do in oils. Oh my goodness. Is he technically an orc? No, but he is a big spooky scary thing. He's scary enough to be for Sporktober. Yeah, as Beef says, don't knock the maggoty bread. Well, that must have extra protein in it. Because, I mean, well, maggots, right? So there must be extra protein in there. Now, before I get too bonkers here with just cracks and cracks and cracks, let's take a little bit of this here. Let's just do a couple of streaks or something here that's more like weathering as opposed to just, see it? We kind of switch the color around. And now this is a kind of like a glaze. It's a bit like a glaze right here. Very controlled just in this area. Make it look like this is being stained as opposed to, gosh knows what, scorch marks or something. We don't want that necessarily. I turn this upside down. Take some of the paint out of there, and now we'll just remove some. Oh, look at that. So, this is that little bit of a glazy type thing that we were talking about before. Where's some of the logical places for this to be? Typically there. That's where your rain's going to be coming down. So now we can get a little bit of a somewhat more weathered look to this. Don't want to go bonkers with it. Tempting. It's always tempting to just go absolutely wild with weathering. It's sort of like the wet blending with the oils. You get all excited about it. It's looking neat. Next thing you know, everything is so weathered, it ends up being too weathered. This is another one of those cases. What do we always say? Less is more, and more is always way too much. It just inevitably ends up being way too much. We got a numbskull in the house. How are you doing? Just shaving a little bit off. Just in my brain. Remember that debate we were talking about that I won and also lost? That this just being one of those kind of fortress slits right here. I'm looking at this going, oh yeah, that's one of those fortress window slits. No, it's not. That is not. We're not doing that. We are going to do it. Ooh, look at that. Looky there. See, I don't mind this because this is part of the window arch here. So that in theory could have some. Here, we'll do some thinner streaks now. Look what's happening here. Get a touch of that up onto So there's a little distinction now between these two sides. And it's very simple. We just took the kind of this brownish color, mixed it with the, is it the orange? Not, it's either dark earth or it's burnt earth, I think. This medium earth is no, I think that's medium earth. Yeah, it's actually medium earth that we're doing. I think some of the other ones would have been, ooh, just a bit too red. A wee bit too red. All right, let's get some of our, here, let's do this a little bit more of our, that's some of the black soot here. You can, oh, this is another nice thing too, is you can water it down. I mean, we just did. Just did water that down, and we'll see, wipe some of that away. We'll do some of that over here. So you just basically have to kind of make it lighter than what you're expecting the final result to be. Just knowing that this is what's coming. We're going to be adding this particular layer of weathering at a certain point. Do I want some? Yeah. Now that's got some of the black soot in it, so it's a little bit darker here. Just sort of a windowsill, window ledge kind of a thing. I could use my sponge too to wipe some of that away. Boy, so tempted to weather this because I just keep thinking about, where's my other piece here? I just keep thinking about my tower here. Oh, there it is. And I thought, as much as I love all my greenery and stuff that I did on this here tower, but I think we're going to stick with more of a Minas Tirith type of a look. Ah, you found the Russian church. Well, that's cool. I think there were a couple of poems. Maybe one of them was more about the building, and then the other one was more about the painting part of it. But that thing was fun. The roof had to come off. So oh, let's get some little touch of staining in here too, shall we? It's okay to have that in here for sure. Yeah, not a lot of weathering inside here because, well, this is supposed to be kind of recently exposed to the air, I suppose. Oh, I forgot to write it down last time. What's the official stream schedule? There is no precise, unfortunately, stream schedule because I always have to work around Kathy's stream time and my Patreon filming and uploading stuff. As a framework, a general framework, think about tonight is the late night, well, for me, the late night session. For most folks that are watching this, this is more like morning. For me, this is the late night session because it's 12:48 in the morning here. Then tomorrow, typically my time, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, which is going to put that midnight-ish, 1 o'clock in the morning overseas, I think. Then Saturday, I try to usually get started in the 3 in the afternoon neighborhood here, between 3 and 5, which obviously now that's going to be a little bit more of a evening time for you guys. For Australia, that's probably going to be more of a morning time. Because I know this right here, as it gets to be, what, about 2 o'clock in the morning here. It's more about 4 in the afternoon in Australia, I think. I just leave the window open and greet about, hey, yeah, Baron, that's how it goes, Baron. You just leave the window open. That's it. I don't want to lose out. See that warmth there? That's the... Now you know I was kind of going cooler and cooler with the stone because I knew this phase right here, I guess we're going to call it that, this was going to be much more of a warm. Now we will get a little bit more of a dark here in some of these. Maybe not here. A little more there. Maybe not quite so there. I'm just going to take a little bit of that away. And we're just doing a little bit of a glaze here. Just a bit of a glaze. Let's do that over here too. Let's get some of that to our base there before we actually try to maybe lighten up some parts of this again. I can actually see that. Sneak my brush down in there. Now let's see what can we do here with some of our blue liner, some of this here white. See if we can't maybe sneak in a bit of marble on this. Gotten so used to doing this with the oils, I have to sort of redirect here, sort of get my brain into the acrylic space. The oils really do just make it all so darn easy. Let's see. Oh geez, Zara, that we used to paint at about a 3 foot by 6 foot table. We used to paint it both in the same space, but now she has her streaming area set up. Mine right here, it is just ask Armored Wolf. He has seen some of the pictures of it. I think a few people have seen, think of a spacecraft like one of those early Apollo spacecraft or something like that. Only cram 4 spacecraft worth of equipment into that same Apollo spacecraft space. That's about how much room I have to move around here. So virtually none. I've been trying to procure, I actually bought more shelving units today because there's so much. That's why there's no face cam here. Oh gosh, I forgot to put me up in the corner. Good grief. I knew I was forgetting something. I was just trying to get rid of the pictures of, gosh, whatever the heck was the last thing we were painting. It wasn't the orcs. It wasn't was it Warcry stuff? What the heck was the last thing we were painting on the stream? Whatever it was, I had to get rid of the pictures of it. That I know. We're kind of going Minas Tirith right here, especially since we have Oscar. I think we'll just call him Oscar. I think we were going to call him Bruce or something like that. We'll just call him Oscar right here. I'm not going to be doing a lot of stuff in Osgiliath. Could be. Oh, the spirit hosts. Thanks. Yeah, that's what the pictures were up for. Though for those spirit hosts, those were actually pretty darn fun. Ooh, it would have been interesting if Al was still around. It would have been interesting using this stuff. Oh, so what we'll have to do is we'll get to make some more of those, and we're gonna have to do this as our pre-glaze. Because remember, that was the first time we'd ever done something like that. We did this as our pre-glaze, and then we painted all of the Prussian blue. Ah, Prussian blue, that's right. Yeah, I got memory. Sort of. I got memory. Occasionally, when someone else tells me what it was I forgot. Now, I'll catch you later, Mini Grander Studio. Thanks for the raid, and I hope everything goes well tomorrow. Well, which is already today. At least it is here. So I suppose this could also be a Osgiliath as well. I mean, it's Witch King after all. Still, my temptation was to just have it be almost this little darkened stone right here. Now, this kind of had to be a little bit darker because this was 3D printed and you got a lot of striations on it. This is pure, unadulterated Sculpey clay, baby. Nice and smooth. Yes, indeed. I think we've got, and I don't know, I haven't actually a chance to, well, I don't know when I'm going to chance to actually buy the new campaign book. I do believe it's called The Quest for or is the Ring Bearer's Quest or something along those lines. But I would imagine it follows them through Moria, potentially, well, obviously the scene in Osgiliath, because most of the GW stuff is obviously going to be focused on movie things. In fact, they're actually, I believe they're restricted from doing certain things outside of just the movies. I think that's all they actually have license for. So I don't believe they can do... What was the siege of that elven city by the Balrogs? I don't believe they could do something like that because that is not part of the movie regime, so they couldn't do that. If we got a Snowyak, we have a Snowyak in the house. How are you doing? I'm just having a blast here. I really enjoy basing and building this. Last night, this was fun. Man, did I have a blast putting this thing together. This kind of, I could just do this forever. I absolutely love doing these kind of projects here. So hopefully all is well there. I know the last time you were in here, there was all kinds of rain and that sort of stuff. So hopefully the rain stopped and you were able to enjoy some of the outdoors again. Moisture free. Let's get a couple of sneaky, cheeky little lighter marble things. Sure as heck is easier doing this in the oils. Although, it would be kind of tough working on this thing with the oils here because, well, my hands got to go everywhere. And, well, when we glue our Fellbeast into this, because I want to be able to glue that Fellbeast into here. Melvin has got to go into his house here. Think of this as Melvin's bird house. Weather's better. That's good. That is good. I was hoping there would be an improvement there for you. So now I can start to go in here and maybe even bring out a couple of accent stones. Yeah. And how long have we been at this? Just an hour and something, that's all. Just an hour and something. And the base didn't take all that long to make. The video, how long was the video? The video is a couple hours long. It really didn't take much more than a couple hours to film it, which was sweet. For as sort of complex as what's actually going on here, as far as trying to plan this out and the weight distribution and everything else. It's not that much time. I think it took more time to roll out a lot of the Sculpey and bake it, I think, than it did to... Ooh, speaking of Sculpey and baking, where'd those go? So, Green Stuff World, texture rollers. These are the two new rollers right here. So this is the Vampire texture roller, so check that out. Now, the stuff along the edge I can't get because my little guides are there, so that's not going to happen. But there's some fun. You got this little demons or something like that. You've got Scully friends here. More Scully friends there. Oh, look at that. It says Drakenhof. Something Van Karstein. I think that says Victor. And this says death is the beginning. Right there. That says death is the beginning. And then it repeats. And now here is your Atlantean texture. There is like a little waviness here. Oh, look, you got seahorses with a dude riding it's a seahorse chariot thing. And it looks like a mermaid wrestling a squid. Not quite sure exactly what's going on there, but I just rolled these out really quick. Hey, Felonius, how are you doing? You have plans for your new Green Stuff rollers, especially the Atlantis one, for sure. Oops, that's not the right one. So we've got some Artisan Guild sea creatures. I don't know if you're familiar with Mantic Games. What is it called? They're naiads, right? Well, I have a whole bunch of those prepped, like a dozen of them. So guess what? And further guess what? On those naiads, we are going to be doing some of this stuff. Oop, no, that's not the right one. This one. And where is my... this one. Yeah. So we're going to be mixing this with our colors on those naiads. And a little bit of our interference blue, because sea critters, right? Got to do that. So I thought that could be a fun army painting series. Well, and I'll probably do some other side stuff as well. Yeah, I'm not really enjoying. Oh, I'm having so much fun picking out these little individual stones here. Even when it's not oils, it must be messy before it can be neat. It is the. That's just the way of things here. That's just how they. That's how it rolls. That is how it rolls. So, Felonious Monk, I hope all is well. I think you were around to see Melvin the Fell Beast here get painted. Well, now here is his. This is his little base that he's going on. Right, well, not so little. But it is a game legal 60 millimeter round base. I was so tempted to make this thing bigger. And if I could have gone 100 millimeters, oof, what I could have done. Now, Oscar over here, he's going to be standing right on this base. So here's Oscar. We'll be painting him next. Now, you've seen the eagle. Same concept here, only this was a little bit more simple because it was just a bird and a branch. And you can watch, I think both of these birds are up on the YouTube channel. I know I painted one of them here on the stream. Oh, Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. He's not going to be doing so well after Melvin gets to him. But this was the same idea right here. Well, looky here. We got a Renru. We have Renru. Now, you're going to get to see Melvin again really soon because we're going to have to get our raiders caught up. Thank you so much, Renru, for the raid. I hope all is well with you. We'll get everybody caught up. And as you got, well, we'll let the ads play first. If they're stupid, I have no idea if they're even playing or not. Apparently, you can manually set those to play. I would definitely not be doing that. Oh, we need more. I'm just going to paint a couple more cracks in here while the new folks come in. Just don't mind me. Just going to paint in some cracks here. Ah, that's better. Let's see. Doing pretty well. Finished up a base for the court investigator. Speaking of basing, this is a diorama but game legal base. So let's look at our interior here. We got our Gondorian marble floor. Oh, look at here. We've got some Gondorian style crenellations. We have Oscar, the Gondor pokey stick guy. And then finally, we have Melvin and the Witch King. And they're going to go right there. So I'm going to move this paint out of the way here. So I think you can see where he attaches right there on this base. So we have the weight is back here because the weight is forward here. So this way he hangs over any potential people that he's fighting, but you can still get in base contact with him because this is raised above the base. But this is a game legal base that also will help, shall we say, when he's on angled terrain, like, oh, I don't know, a hill or whatever. Now, the folks, you can watch the session where Melvin and the Witch King were painted. That was, I think, within the last 2 weeks. It will either today or tomorrow. If it hasn't already been turned into a highlight, it will be a highlight. And I just need to get a couple of cracks painted in here, and then I'll show you what this is made out of. So, this stuff right here. Let's just put this off to the side. So this is a bakeable clay. This is Sculpey. And some of it is solid sheets like this. Some of it is thinner, almost like beams like this. And then you have these individual stones like this. See how they're cut? There's your individual stones. And folks, definitely be sure, give Renru the follow because, well, as you saw, she loves her basing too. Now you've got a stone like this. I'm going to take one that has already some parts of it broken, like this right here. So I can just take a little knife here and just start to chip this away. And look at that fabulous texture. Took a couple of seconds, and when you super glue this to another block, these are never coming apart. They're practically fused together. Strong, really strong, which is really good for something that has to support an awful lot of weight. There's a pin here. That's a paper clip that goes from here, and it goes all the way down to about here. What you can't see is a paperclip just buried all the way down here, because this has to support a ton of weight from Melvin the Fellbeast and the Witch King. So it's also heavy. So again, we're talking about weight to counteract the fact that the Fellbeast is out here. As we welcome in Cutthroat. How are you doing, folks? You're probably already following Cutthroat, but maybe do a double check. Because as we've discovered already in the stream, Twitch likes to do the unfollow thing. Oh, look at these nice little tiny cracks that we're getting here. Look at this. Teensy tiny little cracks. We'll do even more cracks up here just to make these look like these stones are actively being broken here. Ah, okay. Well, hopefully you had some fun doing your gaming. Oh, Renru, we were just showing off the new Green Stuff World texture rollers here. So this is gray extra firm Sculpey. This is the Atlantis roller. And we're just kind of going over some of the neat patterns there. Oh, there's more mermaids over there. Not sure what that thing is, but you got your sea serpent. Oh, I think you got some sharks down here. And then this is the vampire roller. We were just kind of reading some of the little things that it says over here. You got skelly friends, little demons, and vampire-y things, that sort of thing. So that is our lovely Green Stuff World texture rollers, which of course I think I managed to bring those in. There's your vampire roller. That is your elven roller. So we did this. We're going to make some bases for our Lumineth, and then this is your Atlantean roller right here. The Green Stuff World, they just let you do so many different things. I'm looking for one of my Necrons over here. Where's me Necrons? Well, we'll just grab this one here. So there's your Necron roller. Simple Sculpey, just a sheet of Sculpey sitting on top of some cork, painted up. Boom. Gives you a nice little... Oh, and look, we did some of the same stuff that was on our base. We did that on our old school Necron Destroyer. Yeah, Melvin the Fellbeast, he's going to be all done. Oh, here's some of the things that we were painting. Yeah, our crazy hag that we painted in oils. This must have been Saturday, I think. Painting the hag or haggis, maybe. I don't know. Maybe some haggis. And I just want to make sure here. Okay. I just need to do a little bit of maintenance here with some blue tack on one of our Rohan guys, because we were taking pictures of him. And if someone does a host, that's going to go flying off. So all good now. More cracks up here. It's really just spider crack the heck out of this sucker. That's not something you usually hear on a stream. Let's see. Use firm. Yep. Oh, you finally found a Dutch supplier. Because I know at a certain point, well, you couldn't get them in Europe. Green Stuff World was supplying those, but you could only get them in tiny amounts. And it's kind of hard to roll the big sheets when you've got just a tiny amount. And as always, ceramic tile. If you have a toaster oven, that's not a bad idea for a few reasons. First of all, your oven won't have any Sculpey smell in it, which is a plus if you like baking cookies, lasagna, or anything that is not Sculpey. I mean, I think it's kind of criminal using your oven for something besides Sculpey. But, all kidding aside, toaster ovens aren't a bad idea. It sort of separates the Sculpey process from the culinary process, despite the fact that clay extruders are actually just pasta machines. Seriously, not joking. We got a clay extruder which came with pasta recipes, and I said, wait a second, pasta recipes? That doesn't sound like an extruder. Well, it was a pasta extruder. Now here, this really, we really chopped the heck out of this thing because there's actually two Sculpey pieces right there that we sort of, well, we put a wee bit of damage on them in order to hide the fact that I sort of changed my mind and started the arch here. The arch wasn't going to start till this level up here. And I saw how tall this thing was getting, and I went, uh-oh, that might be a wee bit on the tall side. Ah, here we go. So nice small little cracks here, just spidering out like crazy. Some more over here. I'm just trying not to weather this too much because I would prefer more of it, well, at least Osgiliath, if not just Minas Tirith. Not that I have zero gun. This'll be the only painted Gondorian that I have that's not a trophy on a chariot. No, not kidding. Now let me grab my Candish chariot, which I still actually have to finish this guy off. Here, let's get our chariot back out here. Come on, horsies. There we go. So as you can see, there's most of the Gondorians that I've painted are just trophy heads. Let's see. Oh, there's Faramir down there. Yeah, there's Faramir. There's I don't know if that's Oscar's brother over there. Oh, and that's Aragorn up there, I think. No, that's Boromir up there. That's right. Yeah, the my Candish chariots may or may not have killed one or two beloved characters. Oh, let's see. I currently use my oven for Sculpey baking. Plan to get a toaster oven. Yes. Well, we sort of learned that lesson in the summertime as we're heating up the house, and we said, well, yeah, increasing the electric bill is not that much fun, but if the house, which is already at 82 degrees, is not made 89 degrees by the oven continuously running to bake Sculpey, that's not bad. So yeah, the toaster oven, I should have done that more this summer, actually. I just kind of didn't think about it. And a pasta roller, of course. Oh, it came with the recipes. I saw this thing and I thought, okay, it's going to explain what these other attachments are for, which to me looked very suspiciously like something that you would make noodles with. And sure enough, that's what it was. It was how to make various types of sort of the Hungarian goulash noodles versus the more narrow spaghetti, like with linguine noodles. I suppose I should have kept that because, well, then I could be making my own pasta. But I prefer the pasta that I can base miniatures with as opposed to the pasta that I can eat, apparently. More cracks into this. Maybe more cracks into that. And then let's see if we can't get a few more cracks into our marble here too. I don't want, I'm just got to avoid the temptation to start weathering stuff. I just keep wanting to do that. And I have to keep reminding myself, don't you be doing that. You do that, it's going to look like an aged tower as opposed to something that's just been broken up by Melvin the Fell Beast. Baron, most of these cracks are actually carved in. Now, some of these finer, spidery cracks, those are being painted in. Generally, what I do is I'll carve in some of the major cracks so that they actually have some kind of a depth to them. But at this scale, I learned the hard way that if I sculpt in all the cracks, them's are going to be some deep cracks. It's going to look more like lava channels or something, or river beds. So I kind of learned the hard way. Do some of it with the tools. And let me see if I can maybe grab one of those tools if they have not disappeared here. So there's a couple that you can use. Now this one is actually designed, you can score things like plastic and brass with this. So this was the tool that I actually used in the basing video. Well, actually, I was thinking Christmas cookies. Now, not what is that stuff? Your gingerbread, because that's gonna too poofy. But the nutmeg recipe, as we learned, well, as I learned last year, much to Kathy's dismay, that I can really sculpt with that stuff. Which just check out Instagram. Check out somewhere in December my Instagram post of the Christmas cookies, and you will see some of the objects that I was able to create. And with the Sculpey roller with that nutmeg stuff, you could actually probably get the texture to stay behind and not just, oh, what would you say, sort of SpongeBob. Say, look at all those nice cracks we got there. Versus here, not so many. But here I see I did sculpt a little bit more of a crack right here. So see, we're just gonna look at how we're just using the brush here. Very, very dainty little cracks right there. The Yoda cookies, didn't Kathy eat one of those on stream? Or she bit the head off of one of them on a stream. That's right. She bit the head off of one on a stream. Now I think last year I had to make a whole special color for that. So I took several colors and mixed those together to make that special Yoda color. And well, that's going to be my job again, obviously. And as we've been talking about, that the goal is to try and live stream the decoration of the Christmas cookies. It's an annual blog thing that I do anyways, and I've taken pictures of the process. Why not just let folks see the process? Would be, oh my goodness, that's going to be interesting. So Renru, I've been using the Green Stuff World liquid pigments here mostly. So mostly our black soot. I think this is the dark industrial. It is, and the white dust. We also did throw in, I believe it was the medium earth to get some of this warmer color right here. And now I'm just taking the black soot and I'm just painting some of the cracks, because if I want to glue Mr. Fellbeast, Mr. Melvin onto this has to be dry. So yeah, we got to make sure that this is dry as possible here so we can glue him on, because I may need to add some more of these rocks right here, or I keep calling them rocks. They're more like stone. So Renru, they're basically made to replicate, think of painting with a weathering powder mixed with rubbing alcohol or with pigment fixer. They leave a dusty texture behind. So that's, and we have used these. Where's my other orky base here? There we go. So see how that really has the look of weathering powders? This was all done with the liquid pigments here. And it gives you a really nice difference in texture, because what's going on top of that is our orc lady here that we painted a little while back. So she's going to go right in here. So now you have a difference in intensity and a difference in texture. So this has that kind of powdery texture. And the nice thing is they are acrylic. I've been mixing my regular acrylic paints with them. Where's my blue liner? So I've been mixing this with them, and we've been getting some fantastic results. Now you can also, maybe this is the more traditional, but we did this. Oh look, it looks kind of the same, doesn't it? Because we use all the same colors, literally the same colors here, as we did here. I think there was more rust on our T28, but virtually the same thing. Quite literally the same thing. So here's our captured T28. I really like him. I was skeptical. I was so skeptical I didn't even try him at first. I didn't want to hate him. Next thing you know, I end up loving the darn things. Ended up just saying, oh, I love these things. They are fantastic. Very, very versatile. I did not expect that. I almost was just kind of waiting to go, oh, yeah, they're supposed to do this, but they really don't. As it turns out, they do a whole lot. Ooh, how did I not get any cracks right here into this block? So this is me just painting them in. Nothing was carved in there. We're just going to get some of our... This is just a little bit of separation here. No, I'm just going to go in with this. Just going to go right in here with some strong dark there. And then do that. Good enough. Good enough. I don't want to go too bonzoid down here on this stuff because, well, we got a fell beast up here. I also have to determine I don't think there's going to be any light cast from the Witch King's sword. There might be. There might just be a little bit of that onto our rocks here. There just might be. And I might even consider getting him glued down there. There is one thing I want to do real quick here, though. I'll have to grab me some of this, and we'll just do this real quick. And then I'm going to mix me up some green stuff here. Still haven't quite figured out what's going to happen with these guys, but nothing I have to worry about right now. Good to go there. While that dries, let's mix up some of our brand new green stuff. Brand spanking new green stuff. Well, there's half my green stuff. Where's the other half? There you are. So yeah, actual new green stuff. Look at that. Because glue, green stuff, glue, well, that is the magic for making things, well, stay where they're supposed to stay. And geez, I guess I should probably take this off of here too before I stick the fell beast onto there. So I'll let that dry while we mix up our green stuff right here. Hey Jackson, how are you doing? So Renru, now oh gosh, let me try and find that crazy school bus that I did. Here it is. So this thing, this was a Patreon video I did. I think it's still, yeah, just a Patreon video that was done using weathering powders, old-fashioned style, where they were still powders. I mixed them with pigment fixer, and it painted a lot like these did. However, I used almost an entire container of pigment fixer just on that bus. And that's when I said, ooh, okay, that takes up a lot of pigment fixer. These liquid pigments, I've got, how many units of cavalry have I done? So go back and watch. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. It wasn't actually on this unit, but I have several units already of these guys. So the bases, I actually painted those desert bases with these same liquid pigments. Absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. Now, let's look at a couple of other things here with our bases as I mix this together here. Now, I think the Tomb Kings, let's just do a little bit of a tour through the tomb cities of Susenes. This was a little project that we did back in 2013/2014. This was my Tomb Kings army, and actually all of that stuff is magnetized. I even used magnetic primer so that my movement trays wouldn't go flying off of that board when, in the course of a tournament, somebody would walk into me. And they so far only use the powders for dirt and terrain. It lets you do so much more. Now this, you can see this is where we did the crazy demon faces on the marble. And if you check this one out on the blog, there's about 114 blog posts on this army. It was also the first use of the fluorescent paints. And most everything that you see on the top of that there, that was scratch built, like completely scratch sculpted. Weathering powders obviously used quite a bit on some of those areas, especially on our back walls there of the Tomb City. Actually, underneath there were lights and fiber optics things in the sky and everything else. So we love our basing, we love our dioramas, and well, it kind of continues here into Lustria. So this was an earlier army. This was the very first Warhammer army that I ever did. Lots of scratch building here. Those engines of the gods were scratch built. Our baby Babo right there, the skink mage priest, he was also it was all made out of Sculpey. All that stuff made out of Sculpey. So I had a blast with those guys. So now we've got our green stuff mixed up. So we got a little batch of it right here. Oh geez, yeah. That's how all of my armies are. My Sisters of Battle army, my Cipher Lords, as you can see, it just every base has to have its own special treatment, obviously. Now, this is where things get interesting. So glue, green stuff, and hopefully it sticks to that and not to me. I have to moisturize my hands a little bit, but if I do it too much, it's going to create this weird crystalline effect on the glue. So we'll just put a little bit of this here. And the idea is that when we stick Melvin on here, that's going to kind of pancake out and hopefully give that a better seal. Oh, thanks, Renru. Okay, glue again. Glue again. Not too much. And this is actually the cheap, nasty super glue, which is kind of better because, well, it has a tendency to have its own capillary action. Let's just get this off of here because I think it will want to, yes. Now, oh, I can really feel the weight of this in my hand. All right, Melvin. Here we go. I want a little more super glue on this thing. And we're going to put some of it on Melvin here. The reason I put this here is that his legs were actually solid. This is just like an Easter bunny. It's just hollow on the inside. All right. I think that's enough of our super glue there. Let's get a good grip on Melvin. Let's pour him on here. And I can feel that green stuff smushing on there. So now we can, here, let me, I think I can back out the camera. Yes, I can. All right, now, that's what he looks like on his base. Now, I might have to use some blue tack to support this. And again, I'm thinking about some more stones. Do I need to put another one right here? That might add some more stability. So first, blue tack is your friend. Let's not, hopefully we won't break our Sculpey pieces, but we're just going to try and build ourselves a little bit of a dead man right here. Not Oscar. Well, not yet anyways. Because we need that green stuff to set. So while this is setting here, I'll just set Melvin over here and hopefully nothing happens. Okay, he's staying. Where's some of those Sculpey pieces that we were breaking up like this? And this one. Here, let's move you over a little bit further out of harm's way. That's better. I could also sculpt something like this out of green stuff, but I think we'll just have that kind of augment what we're going to do here with our, let me get that out of the way too. I do advocate always having something like, look at this rubber block. See all those cut marks? See all those drill holes in there? The reason why my hands do not have lots of holes and cut marks and drill marks is because of one of these. And they're dirt cheap, $5-6 on Amazon. I'll catch you later, Cutthroat. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Baron asks, any way of doing this and making them detachable? What I could, let's see. Now imagine the top row of stones. Let's say that that's removable and that stays with Melvin. And that way, you know, you could have him come off. I have done stuff like that on other things. But for this, since, well, he's only ever just going to be played here at my house, I don't have to really worry too much about that. I do have some really strong magnets. So if I was to put 3 or 4 of these magnets on him and put him on a piece of sheet metal, he's not going anywhere. So that is another way. Yep, well, I call it a jeweler's block, and that just seems to aggravate people because on Amazon it's called a rubber block. But here's another shape. Look at this thing. Look at this. This was from last night when I was using this guy. So you know how many of those Dark Sword figures that I slice off of their broccoli bases, right? Well, way better to be doing that on here. Look at all those little drill holes. Look at this thing. That could be my hand. So I see so many times people posting pictures of their fingers sliced open to the bone and all that other kind of stuff. Well, that doesn't happen to me because I got one of these guys. Look at this thing. And this is newer. This is actually newer than the other one. Look at the edges of that thing. Look how chopped up that is. $5-6. That's a pretty darn good investment. And you can stack these on top of each other. So now you can kind of get your hand in there and do all kinds of neat stuff with them. Or this way. Let's say you're doing your pin vise thing, right? Let the pin vise go into this instead of your table or your hand. Either way. Yeah, so you could just pin the top row of bricks. You could magnetize the top row of bricks. There are definitely ways to kind of keep it separate. Now, you also maybe don't have to have as dramatic of an angle as I've got on this. So I'm just going to get some of these guys out of the way here. And I'm going to bring back one of my rubber blocks because we could do something like this. Look what we just did. We just shattered that into several pieces. Now I'm going to get closer so you can see what we just did right here. I want some of that edge to stay behind. I want it to look like a rock. I want it to, oh, look at this. Look at that. See how natural that shatter was? Think of how cool that would be for just a bunch of stuff, you know, flying around, laying around on the base, whatever. It's going to move. It's Melvin's tail that keeps fooling me all the time. So what I'm going to do now is get some finer breaks in this. But I do want it to look like it was just shattered, not worn down by hundreds of years of erosion or something like that. Don't want that. Bring you back. Now, do we want this to be stuck in? Do we like the way this is? Do we want one more stone? Somewhere here, like maybe right in there. Like he has just knocked this stone away. So that is something we have to consider. Or does it go back here? Almost, it kind of interests me being right there. So it sort of hides the fact that he's kind of stuck to this thing here, which means I've got to paint this with something here. So let me just grab a brush, and it doesn't really matter terribly much how it's Then we'll just get some paint on this, and then we'll have to let this thing dry. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want this so it prevents him from basically falling down this way. It's just more, I'm just thinking more and more and more stability. The more stability I can add, the better. And the green stuff will give that some long-term hold. Okay, so there we go. Oh, what the heck, I'm just going to dive in here with some of the oil paints. Wow, that white stuff really does kind of dry a little bit there. Yeah, that's a little too soupy. I think we want it drier here. We'll just try and finish up some of this. Okay, so we've got our broken stone here. We can't really do a whole bunch right where that glue is. We'll have to wait. But there's Oscar's home right there. Let's get some cracks onto this rock here. Rock, I keep calling them rocks. Stone. And yes, we can still do this with the oils. Wet over wet. There we go. Lots of nice cracks happening here. I mean, we could add more of these rocks if we really wanted to, or stone, sorry. I thought of adding one more here to sort of brace this part of them, but I think from the back, that's going to be good. Let me see. January, I thought it was Sunday. Oh, so suicide printing. What got accepted? You have to tell me. Almost 20. Oh, hey, Loli, thank you so much. Let's see. Now let's do a little bit of a dark over here. Yeah, let's just tone that part down. Maybe this too. Now I do have some really nasty, chunky brushes here that I think we can use. Oh, what the heck? I'm just going to take this. And I hit this green stuff here. Don't even care. There. Good enough. Good enough. I can get super glue out of brushes, no problem with... Well, actually, I think my brush cleaner now could probably do that too. Oh, your emote. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I saw that. I saw the SP there, and I thought, okay, I bet you that's an emote. So I guessed right. I was actually guessing it was an emote. There's still some emotes that I'm still waiting to have approved. Like since, I don't know, June? Yeah, that's a little that's a little weird. But I can definitely understand the excitement for sure. Now, I think you guys can see what I'm doing here. Now, I am going to hit some of these claws here. I couldn't finish painting the claws until he was actually mounted to this darn thing. So, just bear with me here while I try to get at some of these things. I hope you'll be able to see some of them. I know it might not be the easiest thing in the world to see, but just bear with me. Where's my batch over here? Let's go with this. Just see these claws here, they just had no value to them whatsoever, no shape, no forms. Now we're starting to get to, that's much better. They didn't look like claws, they just kind of looked like plastic. And see, I can throw some oil paints onto here if I feel like that just needs to be lighter. Nothing that says I can't do that. Yeah, that's okay. Well, that's good to know because yeah, there was a whole bunch that, and it's not like they said it was rejected. They just never really ever got approved, and that was weird. Especially since they were things like the one, it was just a picture of a paintbrush. I mean, that's literally all it was. I was kind of disappointed about that. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of, see, that kind of yellowish color there into his feet, talons, claws, stuff. Oh, this last talon not going to be easy to reach. Not going to be easy to reach, but we're going to try and get to it. That's good. Last bit here. Give me my off-white yellow here. Right here on this top. I know you can't really see it, and I apologize for that, but just kind of has to be done. Yeah. Alright, now when that peeks up from behind the wall there, got a little more of an interesting thing happening with that. So I'm glad I put this particular right, so it does look more like he's shattering the wall instead of just there was like some bits and pieces of the wall stuck to him. I'm just looking over, do I want to get any more light on his chest here? Also, okay, you know what? Oh, fortunate. Now, of course, I don't have any of the red ones here, but I still got my little flashlight here. Uh-oh. Wait a second. Turn off the main light. So where his sword is, uh-oh. Look at this. I can see, look at that. Maybe not much, but just for the heck of it, I'm gonna be mischievous here. I'm gonna see if I can't get. I'm gonna get a little bit of my this and a little bit of that. Let's see how this works. I mean, if I don't like it, I can literally wash it off because underneath it is just the acrylic paint. That's the liquid pigments from Green Stuff World. Oh, and the other thing that showed up in the Green Stuff World box today, aside from the texture rollers, was their new, I guess they're dry metal pigments, but they come with a master medium, which can maybe, I guess, liquefy those. All right, we don't need any more than that. But here's the two, come on, guys, roller. And we baked a couple of these. So that is the Atlantis texture roller. And this is the vampire texture roller here. So we've already got, well, certainly stuff planned out for the Atlantean roller. Now, we saw there's some reflecty things going on here. This is where things get interesting. So we'll take a touch of our cadmium scarlet. Oh, the other thing, folks, if you want to spend 4 times as much as expensive cadmium red paint, you can get, Dick Blick has them, Winsor Newton has non-cadmium cadmium paints. Don't ask me how they are or what they're like, because I'm not paying 4 times as much to have those paints here. I'd rather just have cadmium red hue than a fake cadmium red that is 4 times as expensive as cadmium red. So that ain't going to happen. But what is happening, there's just a pinch of yellow or orange. I mean, just a tiny bit. Tiny, tiny bit here. I mean, it is as minimal as I can possibly make it. Okay, that's it. But having done that, I gotta have darker colors around it. I almost have object source shading there, which, well, nobody wants to see object source shading. You want object source lighting. That only happens if we make everything around it darker, like so. So we're going to do that here. And see how by putting the shadow next to it, I mean, it's kind of in shadow anyway, his wing. I mean, his wing is literally casting a shadow onto this. Let's have a shadow here. And this is what I mean about taking just the oil paints over some acrylics. Oh, look what I just did there. I just did some glazing. Just did some glazing there. So now this is darker. This starts to look a wee bit lighter. Can you see this? I think you can. Aha. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're doing it. So by darkening that, that gets lighter. Next hype in the miniature painting. You saw it here first. Oh, and it's funny because what's the biggest culprit in object source shading? It's Gandalf and his. I always call it his shadow staff because it's casting a blue shadow on everything. Now let's see. Lowly asks if you get this question, what kind of clay do you use? Oh, it is Sculpey bakeable clay. So I don't have the package here to show you, sadly, but now this is the regular Sculpey. So that's what I use to make this, because this is just, it's easier to break, to carve. Now the gray extra firm Sculpey, this is what I use for the texture roller. So this is also Sculpey, but this is gray extra firm. It's more than the white stuff, but it's much stronger. And I can actually put this, it really copies the texture very well. But the white Sculpey like this, you can really manipulate it, again, carve it. And all of this is constructed out of the white Sculpey because I needed the weight, I needed the strength. If you go back and check the earlier part of this, you'll see there was a big pin, literally a giant paper clip that went through this whole thing. And there's your link to it. Now I got to paint these guys over here. I almost forgot the tail ends on the other side. And this is wet oils over dry oils. So yeah, you can definitely take advantage of what oils can do even when the paint underneath is dry, for sure. We got to do this side of these claws here. See, we can do all kinds of fantastic stuff. Even once the paint has dried underneath, we can still do plenty of fine work on the top of it. Now we are going to get a little bit of this brown into here, onto his feet, because I would like those to stand out from all of the stones color-wise here. And like I said, if you want to go back and watch the highlight of Melvin the Fell Beast getting painted, you can definitely do that. I kind of suggest it because, well, I had a blast. It was really, really fun. I'm going to get some of the junk out of this, and we'll use that as a little bit of a blending brush here. There we go. Now, I do suggest, well, I strongly, in the most strong sense I can strongly suggest baking it on a marble, or not marble, on a piece of ceramic tile. You will be very glad that you did. First of all, your cookies and pizzas will not taste like Scoopy, but those metal trays, they flex and they bend, so which means you're going to have flex and bent Scoopy, which you're not going to want. Also, the trays tend to transfer a lot more heat to the Scoopy than you really want. And I don't say you're going to get burned Scoopy, but you will get toasted Scoopy. It's going to almost look like chocolate. And you don't want chocolate Scoopy. You don't want that. And also every oven is different, so I would suggest baking small pieces at a time and set your oven your oven rack to different levels, because ours does better not at center. It does better slightly below center, which was different than the last oven. I'll catch you later, Bethany. I'm glad, wow, actually the internet really held up for you here. So I'm glad you were able to catch this. Oh, yeah. Very fun. Well, that seems to be supporting itself reasonably well, because that was just my little blue tech that was barely holding that on at all. So I think it's pretty strong, and obviously the green stuff hasn't even had a chance to cure fully or anything like that. So I think we're doing pretty well. Yeah, that might be too much there. I'm just going to pick on just a couple of these veins right here. Look how I'm holding the brush. Look at how far away I am here too. A nice light touch with that brush. My hand is basically not supported by anything right now. But you can see all the nifty little small lines that you can do here, because the oil again is thinner than water. I'm going to get just a few more of those on this side. What about over here? I think we're, well, reasonably good here, but I don't even know if you can see what I'm painting on. Oh, you can. Never mind. I can't see it. You can. I'm going to go back in here with some of my lighter colors here. Of course, you can't really see what I'm doing there, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to get some lights on this particular stone here. I think, yeah, you can see this now. So yeah, we painted part of this, well, actually the whole base was mostly painted in acrylics, and, well, now we're going over the top of it with oils. No problem whatsoever. All right, what about looking at these? No, I don't think I want to. I was going to almost throw these little stupid highlights on. I thought, nope, not going to do that. However, the spines on this here could definitely use some kind of a very muted midtone. That's not very much of a midtone. Nope. Let's grab some umber and some Van Dyke Brown and really knock that down. Haha, that's more like what I was looking for. I didn't. This is another part of it that I just could not hit before until he was actually mounted onto something. Alright, where's my barite green? Now that we've kind of primed the surface with our brown, now we're going to hit this with some of this green, because that's what we did on the other fins, spines, whatever these are.